Morning, Piers. You must be absolutely thrilled because didn't he offer you the first exclusive British interview in the Oval Office?
I think I probably got one in the bag. Yeah, I think, look, it's been a remarkable night. I mean, we were obviously with Good Morning Britain all morning covering it. And to put it in perspective, I mean, the evening started with Hillary Clinton way ahead in most of the swing states like Florida and North Carolina and so on that she had to win to close the presidency. And then suddenly, around 9:30 New York time, everything changed. And Trump began to surge in many of the crucial swing states. And, you know, the atmosphere here was electric because both candidates are New Yorkers and they're both here. So I'm standing right near Times Square. Donald Trump's HQ is about half a mile that way. Hillary Clinton's half a mile that way. And you couldn't get more contrasting moods today.
Well, it was said that his camp earlier on in the evening were very worried, were thinking, well, it needs something of a miracle to pull this one out of the bag after those early results. But weren't the last words he said to you, see you at the White House?
Yeah, I mean, I interviewed him here in New York in late May for Good Morning Britain. He was very bullish then. He believed it would be very like the Brexit campaign in Britain. He believed that there were going to be millions of Americans who simply weren't showing up in the polls, who were going to be energized by his campaign, energized by his messages. And he was right. You know, there's no other way of looking at this. And, you know, Brits can get all high and mighty about it, as many did over Brexit. But in the end, the people have spoken. The majority will has got to be respected. You know, I wouldn't have personally voted for Trump. I've known him a very long time. And I have been telling people in Britain, you know, for about 16 months, do not underestimate this guy. Do not bet against Trump. And remember that America is not about New York and Los Angeles. It's about what happens in the middle. And I've been in Florida last week, and the Trump train was surging everywhere. So he clearly has resonated with tens of millions of Americans.
He's resonated.
And now his challenge is to unify America, bring all these warring sides together. I think Trump, the negotiator, could be very effective. I think that there are areas that would concern me. I don't like the fact that Trump has no view about gun control other than to continue as things are. I think that's wrong. We've argued about it. He doesn't believe in climate change. That's a problem. So there's not going to be an easy ride with President Trump. But I was very encouraged by his speech today, where he was really trying to unify people and say, look, if people around the world are fair to me, then I will be fair to them.
Having said that, Piers, half of America didn't vote for him. Many of them are in bed at the moment, and you wonder what the reaction is going to be when they wake up, when they mobilise, if they get out on the streets, whether or not there was a little bit of unrest in New York when it was first announced. There was worrying and threatening, aggressive rhetoric during that campaign trail. So can he take it back?
Well, it reminds me again of the Brexit campaign, you know, and in a way, the Brexit victory is very similar to Trump. You know, I voted for Remain, so I was on the other side. But I didn't like the way that anyone who attached themselves to the Brexit campaign was immediately dismissed as stupid, ignorant, sexist, racist, whatever. Exactly the same here with Trump. And the more that Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama and the Democrats tried to demonize Trump, the more I felt, and I said this very publicly, I think I said it on your show, the more I felt it played into his hands and energized his core vote. And that's exactly what happened. And I think, you know, can Trump be different? Absolutely. Why? Because he's not just a high and mighty, highly principled politician who has very strong views about things. He's a negotiator. He's a guy who already, we've seen in the last few weeks, has reined himself back in, reined in the rhetoric, changed his policy on things like his absurd short-term ban on Muslims coming in the country. Now he's saying he wants tougher immigration controls on people coming from war-torn countries like Syria and Iraq, which, by the way, makes perfect sense. So Trump is already showing signs to me that he's actually more moderate than people fear. And if you go back before he ran, he was actually a very moderate Republican. So I wouldn't be too overly terrified, as many Brits seem to be.
If you enjoyed that, there's more of the same right here. And make sure you subscribe so that you never miss the best moments from this morning.